Okay guys, getting started on this Clone a Toy build. My K-7 Deora. As you can see right off the bat, I've decided to try to emulate those horns by using some big rig horns in the same sort of pattern. I don't quite exactly have three of the right ones, but you know, the close as you can get. And I've got a lot of the parts out. I've got the engine, you know, halves together, the basic stuff, and starting to lay out the parts, get ready to do this. And looking at the frame, oh, right there, I have test sprayed a spoon. And the reason why, let me get underneath here, I wanted to show the color of the undercarriage of the Matchbox is about that color. I mean, close to that color. So we're going to try to get as much of the underside of the Deora that steel color. Well, I'll paint the whole frame that color and who knows what else. Otherwise, I'm going to be going very, very plain and basic on the colors. I'm not going to detail it very much because the idea I'm going with is trying to make it look like a toy. So, you know, these things are mass-produced. They can't mold them in a number of different colors. This is like basically a body and all the plastic is black. There's no detail. There's steering wheel and stuff. Oh, there's a different color steering wheel in there. Anyway, so that's gonna, what am I gonna do there? So I'm gonna paint the steering wheel whatever color that is. And everything else can be black because everything else is black. And so this whole driver's compartment's gonna all be black with just a couple of little things on there. And you know what we usually do with chrome is we strip it off because it's usually so bright that it makes it look like a toy. So we're going to leave it all on. We are not going to dull coat or blackwash anything. We're going to make it look like a toy. I'm going to put that fan and those black belts around those components, leave them chrome. Everything's going to look like it was mass-produced in a factory as a toy, and including the stickers. Sticker paper came in. I'm excited to play around with that. So we'll be doing some sub-assemblies, and who knows what we'll see in the next scene. Should be exciting though. Okay, moving right along here, I've got the chassis painted that steel color. And I've just been sort of mocking it up with some of the suspension pieces. And I know this is going to look terrible. It's going to look like a cheap toy because of, wow. But you know what? That's what we're going for. Anyway, and here is a look at the underbelly of the body. Now this front piece, hopefully you realize that's a separate piece. And then this piece is all part of the one-piece body back here. I'm getting a shadow. And that came out looking really good. This is that stainless steel paint from Krylon. But let me mock it up a little bit more. Oh, on the side note, look at the engine there. Same color. And let me mock it up some more to see, because that looks like I missed a giant section there. Let me see what good. Okay, and so here's a good look at the way that all goes together. I'm glad I did this mock-up because it gives me a good idea of what is still going to be showing. You can see down in there we've got some white showing. Now in the front here there's going to be a body panel that's covering up the front here. Really not going to know what to touch up with some brush paint until really the main body color is on. But I like it so far. It's a good representation of course, to be like the Matchbox, it would have to be completely flat and boring. So just having it all one color is the best I can do. So I don't know what's going to be next, but it's coming up now. Okay, and so now we're getting ready to paint the interior, and of course the interior is going to all be painted the same color. Almost really hate to do that because look at all the details, but keeping in with making it look like a matchbox, it's got to be like one big molded piece of black. I really do. I kind of want to get another Deora kit to build it up the right way, because I mean, like, here's the engine coming together pretty well. Actually, I believe it is all together. As you can see, I left all the chrome and just have the block painted steel. Looks good for what it is. Be interesting to see it on the chassis. But we are getting ready to paint this interior tub. It would really be neat to paint this all unique, and but that will all happen on a different kit. This is a specific build, and it's all going to be black. This is all going to be Rust-Oleum satin black. So I guess it'll be there in the next scene. Okay, and so now we have the finished interior, complete with the horrifying white steering wheel. Reason being, because the K5 has a white steering wheel. I wish it didn't, because man, that is white. Anyway, the shifter is not mounted backwards, or maybe in the actual Deora it was mounted backwards, but if you mount it the other way, then it's touching that console back there. But thankfully in the book it shows a picture of it, and it is mounted forward like that in the real car. It was curious that this set of gauges on the side here was not a chrome piece, so I painted it with Tester's Chrome, and that's that. So adding to reasons why I want another Deora to do this correctly, because that is one awesome looking interior, very futuristic and cool to be painting all black like that. I want to do this over again with nice 60s details. And I don't know if I showed the completed engine, but there it is on its provided chrome engine stand, which it doesn't fit on, curiously. Slant 6 engine. Another reason why I want to build this one again, because I want to build that properly. Oh, curiously here, there is, you're seeing there is no air cleaner. That's the carburetor right there. But the kit does not even come with an air cleaner. This all has to fit under this bulge here and that bulge there. So now we mount the interior and the engine onto the frame and start to get a look at what this looks like, sort of. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so now we're going to start looking at the body, particularly the front of it to start with, because of what I'm going to do. As you can see here, I don't know if you can tell, but this, the window frame, is a separate piece, and also that front piece is kind of like a tailgate for a truck bed. And that looks like it's designed for the kit to fold down like a tailgate. And then the windshield folds up, like, because there's a hinge thing right there that mounts on the underside of the ceiling in the cab to provide a hinge so that can lift up like a hatch. And here's a picture. This is in the book that comes with it. You can see at the top there, the top is open on 2 hinges, not one in the middle like the kit does. And then this big bar in the middle that holds it up, which is not in the kit. But then the door actually twists on the real Deora, twists to let you in and then twist it back to close it. So it does not actually open like a tailgate. Anyway, all that is not important because, thankfully, I'm doing a clone a toy build, and the K-7 doesn't have all that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glue it all on, which is going to make it much easier. So that's what I'll be working on now, is gluing all that stuff onto the front and getting it ready to paint. Okay, here we go with the completed chassis. Now the wheels and tires, I had some trouble with them. There is no way, there is probably a way to leave them rolling, but no, this is, everything's glued on solid. That was really the only way I could think of to get everything to line up properly, because it was a mess. I went with the pad printed tires. I know that the original, the K7 does not. They have just black wall. But I couldn't resist. These are in the kit. I had to do it. Of course, went with the slotted mags, and I did put the spinners on there. I originally put the spinners on there, the spinnerets, because, you know, that's close enough. See, it kind of looks like slotted wheels with a spinneret in the middle. But I ran into a problem, so it worked on the front, ran into a problem with the back of the metal thing sticking through. And that is sticking through on both sides, so it's the wrong size. And when I pushed that through, it knocked the spinneret off. And so I have to modify those, and we'll see if I can get it to work. But even if I can't get it to work, it's still accurate, because as you can see here on the Matchbox, and you can see it on the other side, the shafts stick through. So it's one of those things. Let me look on the bottom of this. There we go. That's what it looks like on the bottom. Very, very bizarre. Very unique. I do like it. And the, as you can imagine, of course, the, over here, the exhaust did not line up. And I could force that. Where is it? It kind of looks like it did. Oh, right there. Ta-da! I could get that on there. I'll get that on there. Anyway, moving on to... Is there anything else I need to say about that? I don't think so. Moving on to the body. Oh my. What do I even say here? Now, I was originally saying that I want to get another one of these and build it up the proper way and go into all the detail and everything. There's no way. Even if I built this again in a more detailed build, there's no way I would try to make that front canopy openable, or the door there. This is, if I reiterate, this is how you get in. This is the door down here. It swivels to the point like a, not like a, you know, it would be a hinge in the middle, and it would swivel, and you can walk in, and then you swivel it closed. And then, of course, this canopy swings up. But it is so warped, as you can see. I had to glue it on, and even at that, it's not completely straight. Now, I did that by gluing it, super gluing it in the middles, and then letting that dry, and then pulling the sides down, and then gluing them down. And then it still doesn't look fantastic. I'm going to have to do some sanding and stuff. But I'm going to say, just to get that to be an openable canopy, you might as well start with just a big bare chunk of plastic, because I don't know if you can even save that. Other than that, I would say, like, if you wanted to make that, when you put this thing together, the, let's see here. there. So that's what it looks like on there. As you can see, right off the bat, the front of the engine disappeared, and you're supposedly, if in the real car, you have to take that engine cover off there, in between the seats, and then in the bed, when that's on, you have this other engine cover. So to make that engine viewable, you would really have to do some work, and I'm not sure I would want to do that. But yeah, at this point, you know what? We're close enough. Let's do a mock-up. Okay, there it is on its chassis with the interior tub in there for the first time. And hey, see how well that grill is fitting on there? That's actually after working on it for a long time. That grill piece fits so poorly that you might want to consider just leaving that off. No, I'm kidding. So the openings for the headlights in the body, I have those. They also weren't big enough. I've got those big enough to the point where it fits in there. The problem is happening down here. And I've been working on that area, and eventually I'll get it to sit down in there like it's supposed to. But not without a lot of trouble. Anyway, something else I was noticing on the original, so there's the bed cover back there, the transparent orange. Something I had never noticed after having this as a kid for all the years and everything, is that the front windshield is also clear orange. So, I mean, why not? So we are going to, and that's the, there it is right there. So there's the bed cover. That's going to be clear orange. And then the whole windshield, so the windshield and the side windows, we're also going to paint in the clear orange. And I don't expect those to fit. It's starting to get funny how there are great fitting parts and very poor fitting parts on this. Oh, yeah, also I found another horn, center horn. Remember, originally I was going to be doing, where is it? There's the, I just had a collection of horns put together, and the center horn was too small, whereas the correct horn setup, honestly, the middle horn is bigger than the side horns, but, you know, we're just gonna, maybe we'll stick one out forward. The middle horn is a little bigger than the others, but we'll stick it out farther, and we'll put it on a cross piece and get it mounted up there on the roof. What else? So these are the little side vent things. The hope you saw that. The exhaust vents out the sides, and the car has these little outlets here. I'll get into that later. But anyway, so we're about to paint this thing yellow, and paint the bed orange, and paint the windows orange, and I guess that'll be the next scene. It'll be yellow. See you there. Okay, here we go with the parts being painted, and this is a, this is the 2-foot view, and everything looks, you probably already spotted the problems, but I'll get to those clear orange parts in a moment. Let's concentrate on the body. Body came out fantastically well, and I knew it would. Just giving a quick look around. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you sprayed that paint on too thick. And I will agree with you. I sprayed it on too thick on purpose. This is 4 coats of Rust-Oleum, and you never do that. Never, never, never. Reason being, trying to look like a Matchbox car. If you look at a Matchbox car, the paint is too thick. You get it? So it's too thick on purpose. And that paint is this paint. This is the Sunburst Yellow. Fantastic paint, as you can see here. There is no clear coat on this. This is the way it sprays with 4 coats. Now it's been sitting here for 2 days trying to cure. Normally Rust-Oleum is ready to go the next day or even the next morning after you sprayed at night. But when you put 4 coats on, it takes a couple days. It's still a little rubbery and I'm afraid to wrestle with it yet. Other than that, we've got these are the under panel pieces. That's the one for the back and that's the one for the front. And they also came out looking really good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means under there. You'll see when I go to put it together. Now, moving on to the clear orange, just give you a quick review. I'm brand new to airbrushing. I'm brand new to these acrylic paints, and I don't know what I'm doing. Not at all. So there's a I'm at a loss for words. The good news is I've been talking with old Tom, and it's very easy to get this paint off of here, and that of course is what we're going to be doing. As you can see here, we even had crazy things happen, like, and I've lost my pointer, so I can't point. We had kind of a capillary action. This is I was spraying the other sides of these. These are, everything was upside down. We had a capillary action, pull the paint around and under to the tape side. So besides being all blotchy and screwed up, it also ran around to the other side and mixed with the tape. Now these little side windows look kind of okay, but still not fantastic. These and it's a total do-over. Now here, look at that. If you're wondering how bad can get, that's how bad can get. I think I mixed it too watery, and then I was having issues with the airbrush. I'm not using the new airbrush yet. I'm using the old one just in case I screw it up. I'm trying to get some practice in, figure out how to airbrush before I use a really good airbrush. Obviously too watery, I think, and spraying on coats before the previous coat had set up, I guess. And also there was an issue with the nozzle. The nozzle for the most part was closed. Previous time I had used it, 2 things. Previous time I used the airbrush, I didn't clean it at all. That'll do it. And I had closed the nozzle and not even completely closed the nozzle, so I was spraying through a mostly closed nozzle here. And once I finally figured it out and got paint all over my hands, it started spraying really good. But that's not before it was destroyed. Now curiously, and according to the laws of Murphy, the test spoon is perfect. That's the one where I was testing the airbrush and the paint just to make sure I was doing it right. And as you can see, test spoon is flawless. False sense of security. That right there. I know I can do this, is what that told me. And so I went to do it. And we got that. Anyway, do-over. Other than that, what else are we doing here? Not much other than the horn. If you saw in the previous scene, that center horn had a flat front. And so I had to make a horn, a hole, and a beveled, what would you call that, tapered something or other. Couldn't be flat, and so now then I've just got to paint in Molotow. on that and otherwise. So in the next scene, hopefully I have corrected all this and the body is finally gassed out to the point where I can touch it and get some more done. So who knows what'll be in the next scene, but it should look better than this. Okay, and here we go with round 2, or step 2, round 2. Anyway, we repainted them. And as you can see, they came out quite a bit better. Still not, I wouldn't say perfect, but pretty good for first time airbrushing. And of course the main piece there is the most important. The only thing that I can see here, we had a little bit of a pooling happening here. Of course I sprayed it upside down so it's like a spoon. And had a little bit of pooling happen here, which normally wouldn't be a problem if you were painting a solid colored thing. You wouldn't even notice that, but if the thing is clear, it shows up on the other side a little bit. And I'm leaving that. I'm good with that. We're totally leaving that. And it may be less noticeable once the bottom of that is... I'm not going to paint that black. I'm going to be putting a black insert in there, black vinyl insert. And then once that's black, it will hide that a bit more, I think. Anyway, those are all painted now, and we'll be doing a gluing party here pretty soon. We've got all the components going together. The grill is ready, but that is still not fitting right, so I've got to do a little bit more sanding and scraping to get that to fit properly. The back one fits properly, and that is all these things are all glued together and ready to be glued onto the main body quickly at the last second, because we are coming down to the wire, and I'll get to that in a second. These are the side vents. I think maybe one more application inside the actual exhaust, and I'm just using a Sharpie in there. And then those will be ready to glue on. Still working on the horn situation, but I think I'll make it there. And that's what we got. Of course, we still have to make the stickers and stick them on. Okay, here we go. We've got some assembly done. We've got, it's basically mocked up, but it holds together really, really tight. So there's really never going to need any glue to glue the body onto the chassis. Anyway, the windows are glued in now. The grill is finally on. That is the worst part of the whole kit right there. It took a tremendous amount of work to get that grill piece to go on. Also, I've got these side vents on, and I was able to glue these little spinners onto the shafts that are sticking out on this kit, and they work better on the front. But let's see, let's look around. I have not put these bottom pieces on. That, of course, that's the front piece that goes under the front, and then the back piece is even more apparent. Really, really necessary. Let me try to spin this around. As you can see, really needs that back piece on there. So I'll be putting that on last, because I wanted to make sure that I'm done with having to take the body off before I do something like that. But, oh yeah, okay, so the horns. This is all set now. I've glued the horns. Oh, I molotowed the front of that center one, so everything's chrome now. And I glued them all onto a Lego that I painted silver. So this is all one piece that's all glued together now, and I will put it up on the top once I'm sure I'm done having to flip it over. And okay, so moving on, let me pull the camper top off. and look down in there. I have the vinyl piece in there, and let's see if I can tilt that a little bit. There we go. Oh, I need to clean some fingerprints off of there. But now that wasn't the easiest thing in the world to do. If you wondering how on earth would you do that, I was kind of wondering how on earth would I do that, because this is vinyl sticker paper where you can make your own letters or graphics or anything like that, but then you have to cut it out and stick it on. Now that is not stuck on. The backing is still on there, but it fits in there snug. You can hold it upside down, it won't come out. And so that's done. Now how did I do that? Now, it was kind of a neat process, but I don't recommend it. What I did is, when I was out there, you can of course see all the ribs and on a normal like truck bed, but I needed that shape. I tried some trial and error, and it didn't work with trial and error. So what I did is I filled it up with white glue, and here is that thing right there. Filled it with 1/16 of an inch of white glue, which gave me the exact shape of the bed. And then I traced that onto a piece of paper and cut it out. And you flip that over and put it onto the back of the vinyl piece and trace it on there again, and then cut it out. And that gets you most of the way there. There's just a tiny little bit of tweaking. So that is one way to do it, but I hope there's another way, because that took a week to dry. I couldn't believe how long it was taking. It was tying up the whole process. But it does give you a an exact silhouette, and a kind of a neat thing to play with. This is rubbery thing. Anyway, that's how I did that. So now what? So now we move on to the sticker situation. Okay guys, here is where I am with the stickers. This is what I've been doing. So I am filming my monitor here and doing the best I can. So what I did was I took pictures of the back side of the K7. There is the back and there is the front. These are the stickers that I needed to, let's see if I can, yeah, look at there. So as you can see, they're kind of in lousy shape, and these ones too need a lot of attention. And so what I did, of course, is I took the pictures and then I cropped them. See if I can find one of the, there it is. So it is cropped there, and then I brought it all into Photoshop and I refinished them. Where's the other one? There's the other one. I redid them rather painstakingly in Photoshop, and the next slide will be one of these. There you go. So there it is, refinished. Go back. There's how it originally looked. There it is, refinished. Especially over there. See that? All fixed. And this one, there it is fixed. It was just a bunch of tracing and a big pain in the neck. And so the way I did this, I pulled the whole thing into Photoshop. Let me bring up that project file. I think it's right there. Okay. Looks like I'm not going to be showing how I did it, but this is how I laid it out onto the page for the stickers. I hope you can see that grid. You can turn that grid on and off, and you can set the spacing on the grid. I set it for 1/8 of an inch. These stickers are supposed to be 1/4 of an inch, so you just add up 2/8 of an inch And there you go. And let's see, okay, there we go. And so what I did is a bunch of trial and error, kind of. I didn't expect it to be so precise, but it is dead on. With these 1/8 of an inch squares, it will literally print out exactly where you put it in exactly the right size. So, me anticipating some trial and error, and that's why I have so many of them here, I blew it. And I'm going to, and I've got them all printed out. It's not going to show up here because I have to have the camera on such a weird setting to film the screen. But I will show that eventually. This is the layout that I used. And I'll just explain all this in the shed after it's printed out. I do have to redo these. They're a little too, they're not wide enough. This needs to be out here, and this needs to be out like way about here. And that's exactly correct, because if I were to make this height exactly 1/4 of an inch, it would stretch that out to exactly where it's supposed to be. So I only have one failed sheet, and the next sheet will be correct. I just wanted to show a quick glimpse on how that went. And it's my first time doing that, ever. Didn't like it either. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so what we're moving on to now, I just wanted to show the bottom really quickly, because I've got these clips glued on now. And I guess I'll show that one in a little bit, but here's the rear one. It really needed to be on there because of the way it was. And as you can imagine, as we all knew when that was going on, it wasn't going to go on well. And it didn't. And that is just the best I can do because of the way it has to go on afterwards. If it was a separate thing, I would do body work and sand and everything, but since the whole thing has to be done before you put that clip on, you have to just go with what you got, and so that's what I got. And I know you're looking at the stickers. Hold on one second, let me flip it over. Okay, so here is a look at the back. I know I've got a terrible seam sitting there, but what are you gonna do? I like the way that looks though. I wish I had put the camper shell on. But anyway, moving on to the stickers. As you can see, that worked out wonderful. Super happy with that. Look at that. And on the front. So I moved these all the way forward like they are on the K7. And there's a look at that. I think I'm zoomed in here. Yes, I am. So there we go. Extraordinarily happy. It is a nice copy of the K7. And here's a look at the front. Is that going to work? Yeah, with the clip, with the bottom clip on. So, moving on, I know what you're saying. Where did the horns go? Well, the horns were never glued on. They, they're right there. That, of course, will be that'll only take a second to glue that on. And this is basically done. I'll put the back on. So I'm calling, no, I got it. When I put the horns on, the Deora will be done. But what we have to do now, as you can see over here, let me try to zoom in over here. I've started to try to peel off those stickers, and you know, this was 1972, so that stickers have been on there nearly 50 years. They're on there really good. It's turning out to be really hard to get them off. But I will, and then I'll cut out the new stickers and get the fresh ones on there because they're looking really terrible compared to these brand new ones. it's got to be done. And at the same time, I'm going to do a cleanup on this because look how dirty it is back there. I never did clean this. And then I'll try to use some Windex or some alcohol on the windshield. Try to brighten that up a little bit. And I'll just brighten up the whole body. But the horns, look at the horns. So we have, I've lost them. There they are. So we've got these horns, the brand new ones, ready to go on the Deora, and they're all nice and shiny chrome. And then we've got these 50-year-old ones looking horrible. So I'm going to try to get in there with a toothbrush and clean those up a little bit. See if they sort of brighten up with some Windex, but my guess is that I'm going to have to take the Molotow pen and re-chrome this, the old one. So, yep, just figured out a way to make the project stall a little longer. But I have the tiny tip Molotow pen, the 1mm, where I can get in places like inside that horn and make this nice and new looking. Anyway, so I'll do a little bit of a transformation. I'll use this scene right here, and hopefully I can blend into the next scene where it is Molotowed. I hope that works. And there we go. I know, it doesn't even look like the same horns. Let me just transition back and forth a few times. Anyway, yeah, and there's a shining example of what that Molotow pen can do. Just stunning. Sorry we're wobbling around, but wow. So now the horns are nice and chrome and shiny, just like the ones on the Deora now. So we've got matching horns. And so let's move on to those stickers. Okay, just wanted to show a quick look at how frustrating it is to get these 50-year-old stickers off of here. Not looking forward to the long ones, but there's no stickiness left. It's more like epoxied on there, like fossil, and wow, really tricky. I'm using an X-Acto knife, but they don't come off easy at all. But the next scene should be all brand new stickers on there. So we'll look at that. Alright, now we have the stickers on, all the stickers. And just to save me from having to spin this around, let me just promise you the other side looks exactly like this. So we got nice new stickers on the K7. Came out really nice. And of course the pile of, look at this, I mean it was just a nightmare. But anyway, before I pan up, you probably caught a glimpse, but I realized I didn't have the camper shell on the K7, so one second. Okay, now we're cooking. As you can see, I have put them both on that base and stuck on the large sticker. And so what we have now is a finished project. K-7 Deora. Clone a toy. That's what they look like. And this is a base for 1/18 die cast. And I may or may not put the top of it on because it's way up there. See there? But it's a bit scratched up. And so what I'll probably do is just put this whole thing in my display cabinet with the top off. It'd be better to see them anyway. And that does it. Thank you guys for putting on the Kona toy build. It was a fantastic idea. I already want to do it again. I don't have an idea for a new one. I think that what I would do is I would go to Walmart and pick out a Matchbox or a Hot Wheels that would work with something that I know I have in my collection. But I would definitely do it again if you guys want to put it on again next year. And another burning question is, would I build that Deora again? And the answer is yes. I would go about it maybe quite a bit different way. Of course, it wouldn't be a K-7 clone. I would totally glue all that stuff on the front again. I would leave this side window off so you could see in there. And I would do it all in space age George Jetson colors, I'm sure. But that's what we got. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.